South Park revolves around a bunch of characters, but it's mostly about 4 pals. And when we talk about the goofiest, nastiest one among them, that's Eric Cartman. In today's video, we're diving deep into his timeline. It all began in the very first episode titled Cartman Got an Anal Probe, where Eric crossed paths with some aliens. Quite the wild start, huh? And as the season unfolded, there was an episode called Cartman's Mum is a Dirty You-Know-What, where he embarked on a quest to find his real dad. It turned into a bit of a mystery because, let's face it, his mum wasn't exactly a saint. There were many contenders for the role of his dad, but as it turns out, his mum is a hermaphrodite, meaning she has both male and female parts. Yes, it's weird, but that's how Eric's life began.
I just thought maybe it would be a little shocking to you.
Oh, well, gee whiz, you think so, Mom?
As the show went on, Scott Tenorman dropped a bombshell claiming that his dad was also Eric's dad. Can you believe it? It gets pretty tangled. As the series unfolded, Eric took on many different personas. He transformed into a cop one day and donned a Hitler costume the next. It's a mix of funny and extreme antics that keeps us entertained.
I'm a cop, and you will respect my authority.
Cartman, always a mischievous kid known for his pranks, took a dark turn in Season 5. In an episode titled Scott Tenorman Must Die, he unleashed his true villainy, catching fans completely off guard.
Scott Tenorman is going to wish he never met me.
Brace yourself for this twisted tale. It all started when Scott played a nasty prank on Cartman, trying to get him to eat his own pubic hair. Cartman, ever the strategist, decided it was payback time. But trust me, what followed was far from sweet. He concocted a diabolical plan. First, he staged a scenario where someone accidentally killed Scott's parents. Then, he swiped those lifeless bodies and organized a chili-eating competition. When Scott faced Cartman, he innocently urged Scott to devour those fiery chilies. But here's the shocking twist. Cartman revealed that these chilies contain none other than Scott's parents' body parts. Can you believe it? Cartman, what have you done? It's no joke. Scott Tenorman cried, he screamed, but it was all in vain. However, the story took another jaw-dropping turn. Scott disclosed that his father was also Cartman's father, making them half-brothers.
You killed your own father, and then you fed him to your half-brother.
Cartman's reaction? Well, he started howling and weeping, but not because he had inadvertently caused his own father's demise. No, the real reason was something else entirely. Scott Tenorman and his father were redheads, those fiery gingers. And as we all know, Cartman has a passionate dislike for gingers. Unbelievable, right?
My dad was a ginger.
Ah, pranks and Cartman, a legendary love affair indeed. Cartman is the undisputed master of pranks, and more often than not, his unwitting victim is the unfortunate Butters. Take, for instance, the unforgettable episode titled Awesome-O. In this comedic caper, Cartman disguised himself as a robot and convinced Butters that he'd received a genuine state-of-the-art robot companion. Little did Butters know that his new robotic buddy was none other than Eric Cartman in disguise.
You're my robot? Yes, I will be your new best friend. Oh, wow!
Cartman's grand plan? To worm his way into Butters' life and uncover his deepest secrets, intending to later expose them to the entire class and their friends in a merciless mocking session. But here's where the plot thickens and twists take shape. Cartman's cunning scheme boomeranged back on him. Once Butters discovered the true identity of Awesome-O, he decided it was payback time. Cartman, dressed up as a girl and showcasing his most hysterical dance moves, found himself at the center of Butters' clever retaliation. Butters recorded Cartman's comedic dance and played it for the entire class, igniting a chorus of laughter that resounded through the room. Cartman, the prankster extraordinaire, became the laughingstock of the day.
Wow, kid, you're a little faggot.
Lame.
Now recall the time when Kyle threw a birthday bash at Casa Bonita, Cartman's all-time favorite place. Cartman was eagerly anticipating an invitation, but much to his dismay, it was Butters who received the coveted invite. Determined to crash the party at his cherished Casa Bonita, Cartman hatched yet another cunning scheme. He convinced Butters that a catastrophic collision was imminent, and the only way to survive was to hunker down in a bomb shelter. Poor Butters ended up confined in the shelter while Cartman gleefully waltzed off to the party on his own, courtesy of his newfound invitation. These are just a couple of the standout pranks Cartman has pulled off. In the zany world of South Park, his mischievous exploits are as endless as they are entertaining.
Well, kid, you made an entire town panic, you lost all your friends, and now you're going to juvenile hall for a week. Was it worth it?
Totally.
In the vast array of his alter egos, one of Cartman's most famous personas is the Coon, a self-proclaimed superhero. But in this particular tale, the limelight had slipped from his grasp, all thanks to another enigmatic character, Mysterion, also known as Kenny. Frustrated by the lack of fame and attention, Cartman hatched an audacious plan. He would flip the script and embrace villainy to regain the spotlight he so desperately craved.
No! Dude, I'm seriously! You're being a copycat! I'll sue you!
Enter Professor Chaos, the alter ego of the hapless Butters. Cartman teamed up with him and plotted to unleash chaos by blowing up the hospital, with the intention of later swooping in as a hero to save the day and oust Mysterion from the spotlight. Unbelievable, right?
I mean, aren't you a good guy? Sometimes blowing up hospitals is for the greater good, Chaos.
But that's Cartman for you, always cooking up wild schemes. As if that weren't enough, Cartman then joined forces with the cosmic entity known as Cthulhu, diving headlong into a whirlwind of malevolent deeds. Instead of ascending to superhero status, he embraced the path of a supervillain. It's like he couldn't resist the allure of chaos and wickedness. Oh Cartman, what are you up to now?
He's going to help me get rid of you guys, so together we can make the world a better place.
In one episode called The Death of Eric Cartman, something unusual happened. Cartman, who is known for never saying sorry and never feeling bad about his actions, actually felt guilty and said sorry. Here's what happened. Cartman had a habit of eating all the crispy chicken skin from a KFC bucket. His friends played a trick on him and made him think that he had become invisible, and only Butters could see him as a ghost.
But if you're dead, how come I can see you? I don't know, but you're the only one who can.
Worried about being invisible, Cartman teamed up with Butters to make things right. He surprised everyone by apologizing to them and giving them gifts. And the biggest surprise? He even gave a gift to his longtime enemy, Scott Tenorman. This was a rare moment when Cartman actually felt guilty and said sorry. Beneath Eric Cartman's bad behavior, his mum plays a big role. She often helps him in his schemes. For instance, she once helped him to pretend to be a kid with special needs so he could join the Special Olympics. But as expected, he didn't do well and ended up in last place. But in one episode, Cartman's mum decided to tackle his anger issues. They got help from a famous dog trainer and behavior expert. They tried many things, and at first, it didn't seem like it was working. But later on, they noticed some changes and Cartman became less angry. It's a bit funny because the trainer used techniques usually meant for dogs on Cartman. However, Cartman's mum went back to giving in to all of his demands, even the ones that were not right.
Could I perhaps have 2 Mega Rangers?
Yes, darling. You can have whatever you want.
This led Cartman back to his old ways of being a troublesome kid. So despite some progress, he went back to his usual mischievous self due to his mum's indulgence. In a South Park episode that glimpsed into the future of the boys' lives, Cartman underwent a dramatic transformation. The episode showcased how each of the boys pursued different careers and drifted apart over time. However, they eventually reunited after a long period apart. The most astonishing change was in Cartman's character. Despite his history of making fun of Jewish people as a child, he was depicted as a rabbi. Quite a surprising twist, right?
Knock it off! You don't believe a word of that shit. You're just doing all this to get a rise out of me. Kyle, you really think I would spend 40 years of my life just to get a rise out of you? Yes, I do!
As the show continues to progress, we'll likely witness more changes in Cartman's life and character. But for now, this is where the story ends. If you enjoyed this update and want to see more, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to stay tuned for future episodes. Thank you for watching.
Screw you guys! I'm going